Years ago, I owned a snow removal company. We worked long hours, especially when it snowed. Now, one week in particular, we had a ton of snow, day after day after day. And the workers I had received a lot of overtime. They got double time regular and they got overtime on top of it. At the end of the week, they had checks like they never saw before. And I had one particular worker, we'll call him Daryl for keep his identity. And he came in, he picked up his check, and he said, wow, I'm going to spend it all this weekend. And he came back the following weekend or the following week, and he started listing all the things that he did with his money. He had a lot of fun. He went out drinking. He was buying stuff, bought jewelry, all sorts of stuff. And he came in, he used his entire check by Monday morning. And I asked him, well, that's great, but what are you going to do next week? Perhaps, it might not snow. You might not have that kind of income. Don't you have to worry about it? And he says, I don't know. I'm attorney Stuart Sandwich, and I'm going to tell you that a lot of people have financial problems because they've got that kind of thinking. As Benjamin Franklin used to say, failing to plan is planning to fail. What do I mean? Well, a short time ago, the IRS started processing the 2020 income tax returns. Now, a lot of people, millions of people across the USA are going to get refunds. It's this time of year, everybody or most people, a lot of people get tax refunds. Some get a few $100s, some get a few $1,000s, and there's money around. The question is, what do people do with the refunds, and what can people do to get the most out of their tax refunds? Now, I will tell you, I've heard stories. Some people like to party. Some people like to use their tax refunds and they go out and they buy the latest and greatest phones and electronic gadgets. Some take fancy vacations, and others buy furniture, things they need in their house. And the problem is that when this buying spree is over, well, the accumulated debts, like the debts that accumulated things from over the holidays and so forth, they're still there. But there is a solution. And I tell you that you can use a tax refund to get out of debt. Now, I don't necessarily mean taking all that money and dumping and paying into paying down credit card bills with high interest and stuff. Most people aren't going to be able to pay them off, and they're just going to go right back up, and you're not going to get anywhere. But there are other things that you can do to use your tax refund to get out of debt. And that's why I created this guide. It's called How to Eliminate Debt, Get a 720 credit score, and save thousands of dollars without losing your property. And in the guide, I detail strategies that anybody can take to do exactly that, to eliminate debt, work on getting a 720 credit score so the next time they need a mortgage loan or next time they need an auto loan, a credit card, they're going to get a lower interest rate. Can't tell you how many times a week I speak to people and they're taken advantage of by these companies with high interest rates, and they just can never get out of debt. So if you're in that situation, I suggest go to debtfreein720.com. That's debtfreein720.com. Download our free guide and learn what you can do to get out of debt, to eliminate your debt, get a 720 credit score, and save thousands of dollars without losing your property and without paying your bills. If you've got any questions, please feel free to give me a call back or shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to answer your questions.